Hello everyone, this is James from Wanderlust FP, and today I'm going to show you how to create true slow motion footage in Final Cut Pro 7. Now if you're using any other program such as Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro X, I'm going to show you how to do that in those programs in a separate tutorial. So this is purely for Final Cut Pro 7 users. Now a lot of modern DSLRs will film at a 50 frames per second rate at either 720p or 1080p, and that's exactly some of the footage that I've got here. I've got some 50 frames per second footage filmed at 720p, and my timeline happens to be at 25 frames per second. So if I play my clip on my timeline, it plays at its normal rate. And what's happening is Final Cut Pro is just taking away the additional frames that are actually stored within the video file and reducing it or conforming it to 25 frames per second. And a lot of people think that because they've got a 50 frames per second clip, they can just go to change speed, reduce the frame rate to 50, and they'll get a nice smooth slow motion. And yeah, you can do that, but what's happening is the program is actually creating frames that don't really exist because it thinks that it's a 25 frames per second clip, not a 50 frames per second clip. So what I'm going to do is show you how to utilize those additional frames within your media and get a true slow motion clip. So we're just going to select the clip that we want to turn into our slow motion, and we're going to right click and we're going to say reveal in Finder, and we're just going to copy and duplicate our clip. And the reason that we're duplicating the clip is because what will happen is when we change this clip, our original, to be 25 frames, we're actually going to change the entire file to be 25 frames. So we'll no longer have our 50 frames per second clip. So if I want to play this back later at its normal rate and not see it in slow-mo, I'll have to do a lot of extra stuff to get there. So it's better if you just duplicate the file beforehand, and then if you decide you don't want it in slow-mo, you can just delete it and come back to the original. So that's just good practice to remember. Always copy your footage before you do your slow-mo, just in case you want to revert it back to its original format at a later date. Now let's go into Final Cut Pro, make sure our footage is selected, and we're going to go up to the top menu here, and we're just going to click View and Open in Cinema Tools. So this is our clip in Cinema Tools, and if we come down here to where this Conform button is, if you click on this, you'll see that the current frame rate is 50 frames per second. Now I'm on a PAL system, so all my stuff will be recorded at 50, 25 or 24. If you're using NTSC, then this will probably say 60, and you want to pick half the rate ideally, or you want to drop it to 24, it's up to you, but I tend to stick with halves because I think it works better. So I'm going to go from 50 to 25, and then we're just going to click the Conform button, and that's it. So you just close Cinema Tools now, go back to Final Cut Pro. And did you see that over here our media just jumped offline and then back online again? That's because the original clip that we have that's being sourced by Final Cut Pro has actually been replaced by the new one that we've conformed to 25 frames per second. So if I just show you in the browser here, you'll see that this did say 50 and now it says 25. And without having to do anything, I can just drag out the clip. If I play it to you now, it'll play in nice, smooth, slow motion. I don't have to do any time remapping, any frame blending or anything like that. It's just utilizing the data that was captured by the camera and playing it back. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments, and don't forget to check out the rest of our stuff. Thanks.